So today I am answering your most frequently asked rhinoplasty questions. Since I posted my last two videos, which you guys can check out, I will leave a little card here, and also I'll leave the links for part 1 and part 2 down in the description. So you guys have messaged me, and a lot of the questions that I've been receiving are pretty similar, so I just figured I would make another video and address them here. Okay, so the first one is it painful / like how painful is it? And honestly, like, it's not painful at all. For me, in my experience, I had zero pain, like, at all. And kind of going with that, a lot of people ask me, like, okay, well, what about when the meds stop? Like, when you take your last med and then you're like, okay, this is it, you know, like, is it going to be painful after that? And it's not painful afterwards because you use your meds until, like, the pain goes away, you know? And your doctor will give you like specific instructions, and as long as you follow that, like, your doctors know what they're doing. And going along with that, a lot of people ask me like, okay, what about when I stop taking meds? Is it gonna suddenly just be super painful? And it wasn't for me. Like, I just listened to what my doctor told me. He was like, okay, take your medicine for this many days after surgery, and I just listened to that. And then as soon as those days were up, like, I stopped taking my medicine, and I was like, okay, let's see if it hurts or not. And it really didn't hurt. The only thing that felt weird was, like, you know, the tip, because it was numb, but not because it was painful. So there was like no pain from that, and otherwise they would probably continue your meds. But yeah, it wasn't painful at all. Next question, did your family support you / how do I get mine too? Thankfully, my family, like my very close family, they really did support me on it, and I am grateful for that. But I know there are a lot of people that they don't have that family support, and I think it's just one of those things that you have to do for yourself. Like, if you really, really want it, then, I mean, go for it if that's what you personally want. And I think your family is just kind of gonna have to deal with it. Like, they're not the ones living with your face. Like, I've had a lot of people tell me, oh, your nose is fine, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't their opinion that I really cared about, you know. It was more of how I felt with my nose back then. And so I got it, and, you know, like, now everyone, like, either cares or they don't care, or they liked it or they don't like it, and that's fine either way, because it's like not them that has to deal with it, you know. Like, I'm the one who has to deal with it, and now I love it, and I can breathe so much better. So I think it was a good decision for me. So I think it's just something that, like, you have to kind of decide for yourself, like, if you want to go through with it or not, because there are always going to be those people who are like, oh, all plastic surgery is bad, or like, oh yeah, go for it, you know. Like, you know, it's just something that I think each person has to decide for themselves. I know that's like not probably the help that you want, but I think if you are putting the effort into like researching it, going to a consultation, if you've wanted it for like a few years, then I think that you should probably do it if that's what you decide, you know? Okay, the next question that I've been getting constantly is, will I look too different after surgery? And this was like one thing that I was getting used to. I think I still am a little bit of adjusting, but it took me a while to like adjust, you know, because it's like, you've always seen your face this way, and then from one day, literally from one day in the morning you go to surgery, and then in the afternoon you already have a different shape. Like, you can tell underneath the cast, and like, you can tell it's a different shape, and you're just like, okay, you know. Like, it's kind of a crazy transformation, and sometimes I think that your head can like mess with you, you know. Like, you can get a distorted perception, or be like, oh my gosh, it's too raised, or it's too this or that. But I think if you go to a good doctor, I think what most of the time it is just that you're not used to it on your face. Like, what I did personally was I had the 3D printout. Like, my plastic surgeon did like this scanning thing, and then he came up with a 3D image of what my nose would most likely look like after surgery. So what I did was, like, I would look at that file that they gave me. It was like an email, so I would look at that every day, and I would be like, okay, I'm gonna look like that, I'm gonna look like that, you know. And just kind of like, whenever I had a free minute, just kind of like open it up, just to kind of like get myself used to it. Because the first time I saw it, I was like, that looks super weird. Like, when he pulled it up on the computer, like, I thought it looked nice, but I thought it was gonna look weird on me. And I had already like done my research. I knew that it wasn't that the nose looked weird on the 3D rendering. I just knew that it was like my own perception of not being used to it. So I just looked at that every single day, and then like by the time it was surgery time, or like the couple days before it, I already felt like that nose was more on my nose than the one that was actually like on my face, you know. So I hope that helps. If you can have that 3D rendering, if you can like print it out and like put it on your door, that way you like walk by it all the time, or if you just open up your email or wherever they give it to you, you know, if you just look at it, I think that'll help you adjust. And I think that really helped me, especially when they took the cast off. I know that there are a lot of people that they deal with like, I don't know, like I guess like a dysmorphia, I guess, or like you just don't really like how it looks, or you think it's too up, and these are things that I have heard that people feel, but it's not actually that way, it's just like how they think about it. So by the time that happened, I was already like used to it, and I had already been like, oh, I'm just waiting for like my normal nose, you know, like waiting for it while it was still with the cast. And so by the time the cast came off, I was like, ah, there it is, that's my nose, I'm used to that one now. So yeah, that's how I overcame that. Maybe that can help you. I hope it does. A lot of people have also been asking me, what if I need to fix my breathing too? Like, should I do it in 2 separate surgeries, or should I do it in 1 combined surgery? Personally, I think it's a really good idea if you get them combined. Like, I guess it depends on what your doctors say and stuff, so always listen to them, you know. But I was able to get my septum fixed and my like aesthetic nose fixed, so I don't understand why they wouldn't let you do it 2 at once. Maybe if you have like a certain medical thing, they might ask you to separate it. But I think in most times, it's probably just more convenient because it's like they're literally already there, you know, like you're already under anesthesia, you're already like ready to recover, they're working on your nose anyway. So I think usually they can combine them, I think, if you ask them to. So you should ask, but like if you can't for some medical reason, then I guess that would be like the only exception. Also, a lot of people have been asking me about the splints. They say, how painful or annoying are the splints? The splints are really not that bad. I know it sounds like crazy because you see those videos where they like take out a splint and you're like, oh my god, that looks so painful. But they're like silicone little things, so they kind of like mold to your nose a little bit. So when they remove them, it really was not the most painful part for me. For me, the most painful part was when they took off the stitches from underneath my nose. That was like really painful because it was just like stitches, and they were like stuck there, and it was like, ugh. So that was the most painful part for me, and that only lasted like a couple seconds, like maybe 30 seconds when they were just like cutting it and removing it. That was it. But the splits in itself, it just feels like you were congested a little bit and then you're not congested, and that's probably the best way I could explain it, because it doesn't hurt. It's just like a silicone thing, so you're just pulling out silicone, so that doesn't actually hurt. Although it looks like it hurts from the videos. It doesn't hurt. Oh, but also when you are recovering from your surgery for the first couple of days, they are like obviously in your nose, so it's like you can breathe, just not 100%. But for me, since my breathing already sucked before surgery, it felt like honestly pretty normal. Like I could sleep well, I could like breathe relatively easily since my new nose was already improved, but they put the splints in. So if you are getting your nose improved, maybe you'll have like the same experience as me where everything's pretty much the same, you know, like because you know, they already fixed your breathing, but then they put the splints in. But I guess like if you didn't have your septum fixed during the surgery, it might just feel like if you were congested a little bit, I guess, but I don't personally know because they did fix my breathing. And the last question that people were asking me, which was surprisingly really common for people to ask, but they asked me if my voice had changed. And as someone who like edits a lot of YouTube videos, whenever I'm editing, I listen to my own voice a lot because it's like editing, you know? So I personally can say that my voice hasn't changed, otherwise I think I would have noticed. And also you guys can check my older videos like before my nose job, and you guys will see that like my voice sounds pretty much the same as it does right now. And also my family, they probably would have told me if it changed, so I'm like pretty sure it didn't change. But I guess if you are concerned, I guess if you're like a singer or something, you could always ask your doctor, but for me it didn't change. So I'm super happy with that because I think it would be weird to like get adjusted to your new nose and a new voice. That would be like too much. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching and for asking all these questions. Thank you for your Instagram DMs, Twitter DMs, your YouTube comments, YouTube messages, all of those. I am so happy to reply to you guys. If I can help you with anything, like, let me know, you know, if you guys have any sort of question or anything. I would love to respond to you guys. So yeah, if there's anything that I still haven't covered that you're like, oh, I wish she would have said that one thing, then you can always message me and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And yeah, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, everything is at AmyCrouton. You guys can keep up with me there on my daily basis. And if you guys want to support me on Patreon, then you guys can go ahead and click the button there and it will take you to a link for Patreon. And also if you're new here and you want to subscribe, then you can click right there. And if you want to check out my other videos, you can click right there or right there. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye!